Hi, I'm Owen, and today we're going to talk about Marvel's latest movie, The Thunderbolts. We all know Marvel's recent offerings haven't really met the heights of the Infinity Saga. Eternals, Thor Love and Thunder, The Marvels, Brave New World, the list goes on and on. And a lot of people have different issues, but for me personally, what these past films haven't done well is being cleanly executed. And a lot of just these films just have felt messy. Brave New World felt like it was reshot and restructured so many times. And overall, it was a pretty decent movie for me, but it didn't feel coherent. Or Daredevil Born Again, I thought the first episode, some of the stuff they're going for the middle episodes, and particularly the last two episodes were amazing. But overall, since it has been reshot so many times, it just didn't feel a cohesive experience once again. Thunderbolts doesn't do that. Thunderbolts feels cleanly executed the entire time, and it feels like it knows exactly what it wants to be. And yeah, when this movie was reported back in the trades in 2022 they said that Jake Schreier has an incredible pitch that was concise. And I think that's the exact truth. Like, if you look at the cast announcement, characters like Zemo or Abomination, which was really theorized to be in the movie, were just not there. And for me, actually, personally, I thought Zemo would be a great addition to the story. He's not just a mustache twirling guy. He's complex. But now I'm watching the movie and I'm like, I think Jake Schreier was picking the characters he chose to execute this theme about mental health and the feeling of being alone and feeling like you don't have a purpose. And I feel like Zemo would have not fit in that story because his purpose was always very revenge driven after his family was killed in Ultron. And that just put more faith in me as I was watching some of the trailers and opening minutes of the movie. I'm like, this guy knows what he's doing. And that's exactly what he did. Because from the opening scene when Yelena was jumping off from the building, everything felt on point. The cinematography, the score, the editing, it was all good. Especially the score. Talking about the score, it was done by Sunlux, the people who made Everything Everywhere All at Once. If you don't know that movie, go watch it now. It's an amazing movie. They put in a score that is dark, that is some distant remix of some Avengers and Black Widow themes. It has a lot of staccatos in it. It has a lot of, technical wonders that they create. But it also has this heart to it that I haven't felt in an MCU theme in such a long time. It also feels epic when you watch it in big theater. I personally watched this in IMAX, and the score really hit me in the feels when it mattered. It also backed off when it needed to be, and then it just came back with force. It didn't overshadow the movie, but it was such a great addition to the movie, and I feel like it was one of the best scores that Marvel did in recent years. But yeah, more on the opening scene. The camera work was good. I also was really impressed with the practical effects, and they actually put Florence Pugh off of that tower. But what was also impressive was the following sequence where she was fighting the guards inside as there's like aerial camera work done. And as she's fighting the security guards with the silhouettes and everything, I'm like, God, that's good filmmaking. And the movie never let up. The entire movie was like that. It was clean, it was concise, and it was just incredible to watch on the big screen. A lot of people had issues with the pacing of the movie. They said the first half was slow. And while I do know where they're coming from, I felt like the first half of them in the vault and the escape that followed as they're going up that pillar, I think, as a team, the action that happens, I just thought it was all unique. It didn't feel like a Suicide Squad copy, which a lot of people are mentioning. It didn't feel like that. It felt unique. And I really liked that we got to spend that first half to really build these characters up, create these bonds, because what's the point of a team-up movie if there's no bonds or relationships between these characters? And I think Jake Schreier understood that. I think the entire team understood that. And the first half was great for that. The vault, the set that was in there, it was good. The action also in this movie was just, it felt like the punches mattered. I feel like in a lot of these Marvel movies recently, like the characters can just get back up and fight. And sure, John Walker has some super serum powers, or Ghost has like invisible abilities, but all of them feel grounded. The action feels gritty enough, and each punch coupled with the sound design, like it feels like they matter. And I think that was good for a Marvel movie. I would have liked a little bit more action because we only had the vault scene, the escape scene, and then like the Century fight scene. But it was fine overall. Taskmaster, I mean, her dying in the vault, I understood why they did it. It created stakes. They also had to kind of get rid of the character because she was not well adapted from the comics. But I feel like they could have done later in that, like, of her death in the first half. It just felt very sudden and it was kind of funny, actually. I really thought she mattered in the story later on, and it was just like a marketing ploy. And like she came back later, like working for Val, like trading, like betraying the team. It wasn't like that. She was just killed. I'm like, okay. But the real star of this movie, from beginning to end, is the story and the characters. A good film needs those two things, and those have been like the missing ingredients in the Marvel sauce that they had in the Infinity Saga. But they haven't been missing that in a while. Brave New World story didn't feel that good, and the characters in the Marvels, like Captain Marvel and Tiana Paris's Photon, didn't feel that interesting to me. This movie doesn't do that. Each character feels interesting. You might not like all of them. Like John Walker is still portrayed here as an asshole, but he's also likable in his chance for redemption, his quips, but also his arc that he goes throughout, saying that he's superior to the Thunderbolts because he has his family and stuff. Until in the second and third act, when they reveal that that's not the case, that was heartbreaking. And I felt that was well performance by Wyatt Russell. Hannah John Kamen as Ghost she's much more likable here than Ant-Man and the Wasp. I feel like they could have been more done with the character, but it's fine, I guess. Taskmaster, same thing. Red Guardian, he had some good scenes. A lot of people didn't like his jokes. I personally thought that they knew when to put his humorous nature and when not to. They backed off and they came back at a right pace, at the right time. And the conversation with Yelena was one of the best scenes I've seen in Marvel a long time. So, yeah, I liked Red Guardian. Bucky as well, I felt like he had received a lot of character development in Falcon and Winter Soldier anyway. So, he didn't really get to do much here. I did like his path as congressman, but it just didn't feel like enough. But the real two stars in this movie is Florence Pugh and Louis Pullman. Florence Pugh, she put a great performance in Black Widow and Hawkeye, but I feel like her and Bob's relationship, that's what really solidifies the themes and the things they're going for in this movie. She portrays that feeling of being alone, feeling not having purpose that a lot of us feel sometimes in life. And that was just so well portrayed by Florence Pugh. It felt genuine. It felt emotional. Yeah, it made a lot of people in my theater choke up from time to time. And I honestly think her character development is better than what Scarlett Johansson got as Black Widow in these three properties, which is just incredible. And Louis Pullman, he captures Bob, Sentry, and the Void all well. They feel like one person. They feel like one identity, but they also all feel like different parts. And that is kind of understated. It's like, yeah, duh. But no, but that's a hard thing, I think, for actors to do. And Louis Pullman just pulled that off. Okay, well, I didn't mean to say that quick, but like, yeah, Louis Pullman was just incredible. And the third act, we gotta talk about the third act. The third act was unique. It wasn't a traditional Marvel fight to death. It was subtle. It was different. And just like from the moment when Red Guardian's comforting the little girl and she turns into the black shadows that the Void creates, the tone immediately shifts. Yelena jumping into the memories and her killing that girl named Anya, it's depressing. And I just thought the memories were, like, all the memories in this film was exceptionally done. Her conversations with Louis Pullman inside was one of the best writing Marvel ever did. And the final part where the entire group gets a hug to comfort Bob as he's fighting the Void, his inner demons, as he's losing control and the Void gains him and they have to tone him down. That was just such a beautiful scene. And the third act just portrayed the difficulties of mental health and the difficulties that we go through in life. And it does that with heart. You care about all these characters. And I don't think I felt that in a Marvel movie in a long time. But this movie does that. And just this movie was something. It was probably one of my favorite Phase 5 movies. I I think it's up there with No Way Home, with Shang-Chi, with Guardians of the Galaxy 3. It's just one of the better offerings that Marvel produced in a long time. And the post-credit scene really gets you excited for the next thing that's going to happen in Marvel. And yeah, I can't wait to rewatch this. I can't wait to talk more about the post-credit scene, which I will in the following video. So please subscribe, turn notifications on, like this video. This is my first YouTube video, so yeah, there's that. I think it's going to be a box office hit. We're already seeing signs of that. It is already a critical hit. And I'm just really glad that Marvel took this step to create this movie because it was just a beautiful experience to watch in the theaters. Sure, it has its flaws there. Like, it's not a perfect movie. Like, I honestly felt like some of the conversations that were talking about the theme was kind of hammered down to the audience too much. And I'm like, okay, we get it. But overall, the movie does what it wants to be. It has a clear vision and it creates this wonderful experience in the theaters. And I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this. So if you haven't watched this now, go watch it. And stay tuned for later. Thank you.